Get unlimited access to all of our CPE courses at www.teachucomp.com/unlimited CPE.
In this lesson, we will study review questions 7, 8, and 9. Let's begin by taking a look at review question number 7. Mary moved from Philadelphia to New York City in June of 2010 to pursue self-employment as a professional photographer. In order to deduct her moving expenses, Mary must A. Wait to deduct her moving expenses until 2011 or 2012 because Mary cannot claim the deductions until she meets the 78-week test for self-employed persons. B. Wait to deduct her moving expenses until she meets the 39-week test during her first full year in New York City. C. Deduct only half of her moving expenses as part of her 2010 tax return and deduct the other half after she meets the 78-week test for self-employed people. Or D. Prepare to amend her 2010 tax return or declare her moving expenses as other income on a future tax return if she deducts her moving expenses as part of her 2010 tax return and subsequently fails to meet the 78-week test for self-employed persons. The answer is D. Mary can deduct her moving expenses before meeting the time test, but if she does so and subsequently fails to meet the time test, she must either amend the tax return that claimed the deduction or declare her moving expenses as other income on a future tax return. Now let's take a look at review question number 8. Joe is a United States citizen who has been working in France for the past 10 years. Joe intends to relocate to the United States to permanently retire. For the purposes of deducting moving expenses, which of the following would not be a factor that could determine Joe's status as permanently retired? A. Joe has reached the customary retirement age for people in his technical field. B. Joe intends to travel for pleasure within the United States after relocating. C. Joe begins receiving pension payments from his former employer. Or D. Joe's health does not permit him to continue working. The answer is B. Joe's desire to travel would not be a determining factor in Joe's retirement status. Now let's take a look at review question number 9. Mary is moving from Toronto to Chicago to pursue a new job. Which of the following is not an event which would signify the beginning of Mary's move to the United States from Canada? A. Mary signs a contract with an international moving company that will ship her belongings to the United States in 6 weeks. B. Mary ships her household goods to Chicago but remains in Toronto for 3 additional weeks to finish her old job. C. Mary gives written notice to her Toronto employer which states Mary's intention to relocate to the United States within 6 weeks. Or D. Mary travels by train from Toronto to Chicago but does not start her new job for 8 weeks. The answer is C. Mary's notice to her employer is not an event which would be considered the beginning of Mary's move.
Like what you see? Get unlimited access to all of our CPE courses at www.teachucomp.com/unlimited CPE.